Hi guys, welcome back. This should be part 7 in the series of video demos that I'm doing here. And since our overall goal is to get some 2D art, I'm sort of treating this sculpt as a concept mesh and concept sculpt. I've worked out some details on the head, having used a few different kitbash pieces, some of them my own and some of them by other popular artists. And one of the things that I like to mention about using a little bit of kitbashing is generally you want to pick some shapes that sort of follow along the same direction as your own visual language. So if you have certain nuances that you like to design into, like say a hard surface model, you're not going to actually pick any inserted parts, or you don't want any inserted parts that are not part of sort of the same visual dialogue that you usually use, because every once in a while some things like that can get mixed up and maybe not match so well. But just a word to the wise, generally finding something that can blend well into your design as a part, or maybe a piece of a piece, can be taken very easily in ZBrush. And what you want to do is go for an overall similarity in form language, and as I've mentioned before, shape play, and just the overall aesthetic that you need to probably try to match it up. And so yeah, these kind of things can be, if you take a step back and look at your design, that can happen pretty quickly. So I took another piece of clay and added it, and more of the same, doing a little bit of concepting, except this time I'm working on the torso. I'm flattening out some of the chest pieces and working some of the details in the abdomen. And interestingly enough, some of these got muted out a little bit when I redynamished the mesh somewhere in my workflow here. But adding clay, sharpening it back up again, pulling certain points so that there's a little bit of push-pull. I think there in the pecs, I added a sort of point from, or had a sort of a happy mistake in shape. And so as this thing is sort of a mechanical, either cyborg or alien cyborg sort of design, I'm loosely basing some of the proportions off of a human being. General bulk to the chest, curvature in the spine, the space that it would take for the abdomen to bulge out, given that there was some kind of structure like a rib cage. And then I continue on adding more cuts and defining those shapes. And so a lot of these, when you see that lip that's raised up, a lot of those I'm going to go on the top of the surface and maybe give it a little bit of a smoothing wash, knock it back down, fill it with a little bit of clay, and then use hard polish to give it some shine and give it some pop. So in the negative, using clay to build up and build also in towards the mesh to create an impression. Creating some planar surfaces again with the clip curve brush, and also sometimes either on a beveled edge, I might try to angle the model a little bit and go along the edge and give some things a bevel. So for the neck, I give it a base, and I think I just blocked it out. And on top of some of these areas, like say the neck and the chest, I'm actually going to insert some kitbash pieces. And I believe the ZBrush Central, if you're new to ZBrush, ZBrush Central, the community board, actually also has a repository of different users who've contributed some kitbash shapes. So there's a large community, either free or otherwise paid, that you can get some interesting shapes to include into your design and try them out. And the sky is the limit here with sculpting. And so I go through and I find some shapes. In fact, this kit here, I believe, also is from Kirill Chipazenko, who has some really awesome kitbash shapes that I use. And it really builds up sort of a finalized look that's really immediate to see into the design. And of course, if I'm using a line art treatment, once I place all of these details in, plus the basic silhouette that I have designed myself, along with some of these parts, it's all that much more line art that I can include into the design. So that's actually quite awesome. So I'm flattening some areas of the contour of the hips and giving it sort of a pelvic region. And here again is where I believe I reached sort of like a push-pull. So you have the downward angle of the pecs there. So I pulled those down and sharpened them. The extreme angles of, like, say, the back. So we get the idea that, you know, maybe this thing is mechanical and hard plated, but there's some things that I've done to try to pull the design from a different direction than a conventional, like, humanoid figure. And I add some pipes in for the neck, something like some fiber, muscle type materials. And then when I place the head on top of that, it comes out pretty well. So I'm just going to move, push and pull. And in the next video, what I'm going to go ahead and do is do a BPR render. And we should be able to shape that up and either do one of two things. Either put some screen tone on it, again, for like a comic book treatment. And I'm also going to play with some of the 3D posterization settings and sharpen it and use just a limited number of BPR filters to get it going so that I can use it for more of a type of graphic look. Okay, so stay tuned.